Good afternoon, everyone. You are all welcome to day 7 of Analytical Corpus Workshop. It's already 2 p.m. for the class today. My name is Glory Owomere. Please, can you confirm if you can hear me in the chat box? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, my name is Glory Owomere. Once again, you're all welcome to Analytical Corpus Workshop 4.0. My name is Glory Owomere, and I will be your moderator for today's session. I will be with you in the beginning of this session to ensure that everything runs smoothly. I just noticed that we are just 16 persons in this meeting. Please, if you know anybody that is supposed to be in this meeting that is not here, please, can we reach out to them, post in the platform that we are live, others to join the meeting. We are over 300 and something that registered for this training, and we have only 19 persons in this session. Please, can we do that in the WhatsApp platform? You are all welcome. Yes, I can see 21 participants now. Yes. We are all welcome to this session. Please, can you confirm if you can see my screen? Can you confirm if you can see my screen? Okay, okay. You can't see my screen. Wow. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now? Okay, you can see it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Once again, welcome to Analytical Corpus Workshop 4.0. Okay, before we commence, I hand you over to the speaker for today's session. I would like us to go through the ground rules for this training. The ground rules helps us to keep running in this training, and one of our ground rules is punctuality. Punctuality is very, very crucial in this training. You must at least join the training before running, and in the just so very important that the class early. So have an open mind. Can be a profession necessary for you to have an open mind in the class, and also one class. Having a one class is very, very important. Your participation is very, very crucial in this training. If you ask a question, you can question in the chat box. Very important. It's also very important for us to respect each other. Respect is very crucial in this training. And if you have any question, you can ask your question in the chat box. Ask your question in the chat box. Your mic is already muted. So if you have any question, all you have to do is just to raise your hand. raise your hand before you can speak so that your mic can be put to speak in the training. So I'll be handing over to our speaker. Now, the speaker, before I hand over to our speaker, I will introduce the speaker for today's session. And the speaker for today's session is no other person than Tina Okonkwo, and I'll be reading through her portfolio. Please, if you can hear me, can you comment in the comment section? Can you hear me? Hey. Can you hear me? Okay. What's really happening? Please, can you hear me? Can confirm in the comment section. So our speaker for today's session is Tina Okonkwo. Tina Okonkwo is a data analyst. She's a Microsoft certified data analyst. She's a technical community manager at Java Squad. She has over 3 years experience across several industries. She's a community manager at Data Community Africa. She has trained over 10,000 learners on Power BI, data visualization, and storytelling with data. And her goal is to help others kickstart their career in data analytics. What an amazing portfolio. Welcome, Tina. The floor is open for you. Please, can we welcome our speaker? Can we welcome our speaker? The chat box, can we welcome our speaker? Please, Tina, can you confirm if you can hear me? Please, Tina, you can take over from here. Okay, Tina,
Thank you very much, Glory. I think I can speak now, but I can't turn on my camera and I don't think I can share my screen yet. So
okay, let
I'll
me
just
give you
wait for
access.
you to enable that.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Tina, you have access now.
Okay, yeah, I do. I hope I'm visible. Hi everyone, and good afternoon. Super excited to be here and super happy to be taking one of my favorite parts of the analytics you know, life cycle. I'm going to quickly share my screen so we can get into it. So I'll just walk you through my slides first of all, then we'll go hands on. I know we have like 1 hour together, and I'll see how we can maximize that 1 hour. But kindly confirm everyone can see my screen. Just drop a thumbs up or any reaction at all, so I can be sure that everybody can see my screen. Just a reaction, a comment, and chat. Mm, it should be up by now. I don't see any reactions, or probably people are dropping, but I can't see from my end. I would assume everyone can see my screen already. Glory, can you see my screen from your own end?
Yes, we
Maybe you
can see
should
your
confirm.
screen. Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right. I'll just do full slideshow and then we'll just kick start. All right. Like I said, this is a very, or one of the interesting parts of the data analytics life cycle that I like, data visualization. And it's just because people don't get to see all of the data cleaning you would do, the data modeling, all of the back-end tasks that you would do, right? People would only see the end result, which is your visualization, your insight. And that is why I like this part at all. So today, I'm going to run through data visualization in Power BI and some of the things that we're going to cover. We're going to understand what data visualization is. I'll walk you through what visuals and elements are all about in Power BI. Then we'll look at some best practices, right? And then we'll do a quick demo. So that's just the run down. And before I begin, I want you to put this quote at the back of your mind, right? That the purpose of visualization, or the purpose of data visualization is insight and not the picture. So ignore all the, I know sometimes we'll come online and we'll see all the designs that people have done, but the most important thing that you as a data analyst should focus on is the insights and not the pictures. So just put that at the back of your mind. I'm not going to spend a lot of time for my intro because I think Gloria has already done that. But I want you to know that I love everything community. So if you look through my profile, you will see alongside being a data analyst, I do a lot of community stuff, which is one of the reasons why I'm here taking this topic and teaching you guys about data visualization. Most recently, I completed an amazing Power BI bootcamp where I ran for a couple of weeks and I taught people everything about Power BI. So I train a lot of people on data visualization, Power BI, and storytelling with data. And for me, my utmost goal is to just help beginners like yourself kickstart their career in data analytics. And you can connect to me on social media. I'm Rita_Tina. The Tina is Tyna on any social media platform. And then on LinkedIn is Tina Okonkwo. So if you type Tina Okonkwo on LinkedIn, you'll definitely see me. Now, into the business of the day, data visualization. What exactly is data visualization? I'm going to give you a brief picture here. I'm sure you've been working with Excel already, and probably you see that Excel spreadsheet. If I tell you on that Excel spreadsheet to point the month where you made the most sale, or the products that has generated the most revenue for you, it will probably take you a lot of time and a lot of scrolling before you would figure out, or before you would pick a particular product or a particular month. But now imagine me showing you like a line chart or a bar chart, and I say, okay, what is a bar chart that is probably showing your products by revenue, and I tell you that what is the product that is generating the most revenue. It wouldn't even take you like 2 minutes, 2 seconds to actually tell me that this is exactly the product, right? That is what data visualization helps you do. So it helps you turn all that numbers, all that granular data into easily understood and visually compelling, useful business information. That is what data visualization. I always like to say that it is the evidence of the work we do as data analysts, right? You're helping people see the stories within the numbers, right? There are a lot of, they collect data every time, but this data is actually useless, except somebody like myself and you take this data and actually make it into um, um, a dashboard or a report, right? So this is what makes data visualization actually a powerful tool. It's used for sharing and also communicating information. And when we talk about visualization in Power BI, it is divided into two, or I like to see it as it being divided into two: the visuals and the elements. And we'll look through two of these things so you get to understand what I mean by both of them. Now, when we talk about visuals, right? Visuals are those charts and graphs that allow you as a data analyst share insights more effectively. And Power BI offers you a lot of different options. And some of those options are your bar and column charts. And I'll be just be telling you what you use some of these charts to do. Now, when you want to display categorical data, that is where your bar and your column charts come into play. So whenever you think categorical data, think bar and your column charts. Then when you want to display trends over a particular time, use your line and your area charts. Now, the difference between your line and your area chart is just that your area chart displays magnitude. Don't worry, we're going to see all these things when we get into Power BI. Next one that is also very popular that you'll be working with as a data analyst is your pie and your donut chart. And this chart is used when you want to show how percentage to a whole, like you want to show your display your categorical data but in percentages, right? For example, you want to show the percentage of male to female in this particular training. You would probably use your pie and your donut chart, and the difference between the both of them is that your donut chart is just shaped in the form of a donut, while your pie chart occupies all spaces. You would see like a middle O in your donut chart. Another very popular chart is your table and matrices. Now, this particular chart is similar to your spreadsheet, right? You want to probably see information compared against each other. For example, I want to see my product, but I want to see this year's sales and last year's sales and compare it side by side. I'll probably use a table or a matrix visual to do that analysis or to visualize that insight. Also, another very popular one that you'll be working with from time to time is your cards and your KPIs. Now, cards and KPIs are used to display like single value, right? Single value or single data point. For example, most especially totals, aggregations. Think of it as you want to display your total sales, total revenue, total profits. You begin to use things such as your cards, and Power BI provides so many variations of this chart. Then you have your maps, and just looking at it, you can tell that you use map to actually show your geographical data, right? You want to show data by a particular location, you probably use your map visual. And there are also several variations of map visuals in Power BI. And then there's another one, which is your custom visuals. These are visuals that you probably want to use. Think of your bubble chart, for example. You would not see it on the Power BI interface. You would have to click on a three dots by your visualization panel. When we get there, I'll show you what that looks like. That will take you to Power BI Market Source, that you can import those visuals into your Power BI. So when you need extra charts that are not on the regular place, because some of these popular ones are on there, but maybe there are charts you want to use and they are not there, you would click on those three buttons and it will take you to Power BI Market, and you can import any kind of visual that you want to bring into your Power BI. Now that's that about visuals. Now let's talk about elements, right? It's very easy, or it's very straightforward to bring in a couple of visuals and put and visualize your data, but there are also several features that make these visuals easier to read and interpret, and these are the elements. Think of your titles, think of legends, right? I can bring a pie chart now and just show you numbers, but if there's no legends to show you what each column means, it's totally useless. So these are things that actually make those visuals very, very easy to interpret, right? Think of the axis. We're going to be looking at all these things when we are practicalizing, but I want you to just get just insights into some of these elements that makes your report or your visualization looks even more interesting. Think of colors and conditional formatting, right? For example, you just want to highlight the top performing product or the top performing customer or top performing staff. You want to make use of color. There's also tooltips. So all these things are just elements that make your visualization look interesting, right? Then you have shapes and text boxes where you'd have to give your dashboard a title, and that is where some of these things will come into play. Now, somebody might ask me, okay, fine, I know how to actually clean my data. I know how to model my data. I know how to do my data analysis expression. I would assume that we've covered all these parts in the training. Where exactly do I start from when I want to build a dashboard in Power BI, right? And I've just tried to list out some best practices. The first and the foremost thing that a lot of people skip, and that is very important, if not, you will miss the entire plot, is understanding the problem. There's always a problem. As data analyst, you are not a graphics designer or a dashboard builder. You're actually a problem solver, right? Yes, we build dashboards, but the end goal is for people to use that dashboard to solve a specific problem. So you are all problem solvers. And the most important thing, first of all, when you want to start building any dashboard, is understanding the problem. In this case, you want to define the problem clearly. For example, are you trying to save cost? Are you trying to increase efficiency? Or are you trying to increase revenue, right? So either you're trying to save costs, you're trying to improve efficiency, or you're trying to increase revenue for the organization. These are several kinds of problems that you'll be trying to solve, right? It's important to define the problem very clearly. Another thing is understanding your data set. Very good. You have defined the problem that you want to solve. You've probably listed a couple of questions that you want that report to answer to, right? Because when you're defining the problem, you also have to think of questions, that business question that would help you solve that particular problem. That is understanding the problem. Then you now have to start thinking of you have to take a good look at your data set. Even before here, you are thinking, okay, where's the data that I'm going to use to solve this problem coming from, right? Is it coming from? And I'm speaking from the real world perspective. Sometimes you're given a task, or there's a problem in the organization and they're telling you, oh, we need to solve this particular problem. Maybe we are losing customers. We want to do a customer churn analysis, right? And they've told you that this is the problem. You've mapped out some of the questions that dashboard is going to answer. You begin to think, okay, these questions, what data am I going to use to answer these questions? And you're thinking, okay, our customer data, our sales data, the last time a customer purchased, the last purchase date, the products they are buying, things like that, right? So you have to understand the columns, understand the tables, the way they are connected, which is your data modeling, right? Understand the relationship, so that the limitations you probably encounter in this particular project or in this particular task, right? You also have to think, what is the end goal, which is what I explained earlier on, right? You thinking about what's the problem you're trying to solve. And it's very, very important to look for, to build background and context, right? That is why people always say, as a data analyst, domain knowledge is very important. And you only get domain knowledge by, doing a lot of research. So it's not just about understanding. You have to do a lot of research. What do I mean? You have to start thinking of what KPIs are important to this industry. What are those metrics that I would add on this dashboard that will be very interesting for management to see? These are some of the things you do in your understanding the problem phase. The next thing you want to think about is knowing your audience. This is also another part people skip. In most cases, people skip all stage 1, stage 2, and just move over to stage 4. Now, it's very important that you know your audience, because the dashboard you will build for a technical audience will be different from the dashboard you build for a non-technical audience. So understanding the needs of your user is very important. The dashboard you will build for executives and C-suite and top management will be different from dashboard that you will build for department managers. So these are department level heads, right? This is very, very important. Also, you want to tailor it to their expertise and role, which is what I'm talking about, that for executives that don't really have enough time to want to start skimming all through your dashboard, you want to focus on what is really important, right? Also, it is important to consider how and where they will consume this info, right? For example, if people are going to be using their phone to look at this report, there's a way you structure it. In most cases, people use their dashboard to view this, their laptops to view this report. So you want to make sure that you have chosen a size that will be visible on their computer, right? The next stage is planning your report. And this is also very important. Yes, you have your business problem, you know who you are building for. It's important to plan the report. And in this planning stage, even though I've not added this year, that is where you are probably doing your, cleaning, your modeling, writing some of your calculations, right? And then the next thing is to make a sketch, what we call a wireframe. Now, wireframing is very important because it makes see the time you will spend trying to, what do I position this to where you already have, because you have a list of questions. Okay, this is what they're asking me to do. These are the questions I want to answer. I want to find out with my total revenue, total customers, and this. I'm going to place this year, and year. That is what wireframing is all about. So wireframing is just like a structure of how the end results of your dashboard is going to look like. And when you're trying to build your wireframe, or when you eventually build your wireframe and you're trying to position information, it's important that you categorize information logically. One of the best ways, or one of the ways I've tried to do this, or I've learned to do this in my 3 years of experience, is I want to put like the most important information on top. And I'm talking my KPIs and summaries at the top of my dashboard. For example, I'm calculating, I have a lot of aggregations like my total revenue, total customers, all those things. I've just learned to position them on top of my dashboard. So I start with my title, then I move to my KPIs. So those totals come next. Then the next thing I like to show is like a trend analysis. And after a trend analysis, then I can decide to break whatever metric or measure I have by dimensions. Now, when I talk about by dimensions, for example, if I'm trying to do my analysis by product, right, or I have my revenue that I'm focusing on as my metric, I'll probably now want to start doing, after doing my my line visual, I want to move to like a bar chart that shows me categorical information of my product. Another thing that is important to note is applying the 5-second rule when you are building a dashboard. What does the 5-second rule mean? 5-second rule is, you want, when people stare at your dashboard in the first 5 seconds, you want them to take something out of it, whether it be an information to say, okay, last year was better than this year, or January was the best performing month. Just a particular information. That is what the 5-second rule is talking about. Something else you should also put at the back of your mind when categorizing information logically is, people read naturally as Nigeria, except maybe you write Arabic. People read from the left to the right. So you want to put information, most importantly, information from the left. You are starting from, so you put like this and you position this, it's called a zero. So from the left to the right, because nobody's going to read, you don't read from up to down, you read from left to right. So it's very important. Apply that rule when you are visualizing, right? Last stage, which is also another very important stage. Some people will do, you build your dashboard and you just feel like, oh, that's okay, no need to put in any effort, right? Designing your visuals. Design is a very big part of what we do as data analysts, and I'm going to explain. I know I said we're not graphic designers, but I'll explain what I mean. Now, you can do beautiful and great work, and when I mean by beautiful and great work, I'm talking about the insights that you get from your data. They might be so interesting and really decent, but if you don't position them well in a way that tells a clear story, right, you would end up like nobody will be interested in looking at it. So it's very important to design your visuals. So, and when in designing your visuals, I'm not saying you should paint. I'm saying you should go minimalistic. You want to choose the right colors and the right theme for your report, right? There are several sites that helps you do this. I'm going to show you a couple of them when we start practicalizing. You want to make use of background images if the need be, right? You want to add icons, like, maybe you're trying to visualize sales and you just want to put in something that represents sales icon on your dashboard. You want to use that for clarity, like when you're displaying male and female or you're adding icons. Some of those things help to enhance your dashboard. And another one that people rarely use is getting inspiration online. There are lots and lots and lots of inspiration online. All you just need to do is go to Google. Right now, we even have AI that is making the work even a lot easier, right? Where you can even put in your your column names, and it generates, like, it gives you like a whole breakdown of how you can go about designing and creating this particular report. Yes, I'm pro AI and I'm pro GPT actually, because I definitely feel as data analysts we should embrace it more, because it helps us become much more productive. So right now I'm just going to stop sharing so I can share my entire screen. I would also turn off my video, and then we can do a little bit of demo within the next 30 minutes. I really hope that's time, that's enough time, because I would also want to take questions. But I really hope that everyone is following. And if you are, you can just kindly drop a thumbs up and even a reaction, or a reaction in the comment section. Please let me know if everybody can hear me clearly, because I think someone says my audio is breaking off. So I want to be sure. So I'm sharing my entire screen. Just a moment. Okay. Please let me know if you can see my Power BI screen at the moment. I want to be sure everyone can see my Power BI screen. You can just do that by,
Yes, we
okay,
can see
by
yours.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so one thing I want us to do quickly is, by now, I'm sure Glory would have shared a Drive link that contains all the resources that I'm going to be using for this session. And something I've tried to do is I've just created the measure. So there's like a working document which looks like this with the measures, and I'll tell you how to use this working this thing document. The data set also that is plugged here is the popular Superstore sales data. All you just have to do to put this on your own is, when you click on that PBIX file, which is a working document. I mean, if you want to start from scratch, that is also fine, and create all these measures. You can just look at what has been done on that file and replicate it. But if you want to probably use this working file, all you need to do is download this analytical Corper sales dashboard that I've put in that drive. And then what you want to do is go to transform data. On transform data, you're going to go to the first step here, which is this source, right? You go to the first step here, which is this source, and change this particular part. So if I come to this source here and I click on this icon that says settings, so you see this folder part that is here, you want to change it to the folder part of where that tech monthly data that you would download is in your computer. So you either want to browse and locate it on your downloads and just click on it. So you would have to do that for every one of these files down to location. Okay, so that is something you want to do if you are using this particular file. So I'll go back to Power BI desktop, and then we can just look at a simple case here. And the case that we're going to be working on is a retail core sales dashboard. It's a simple sales dashboard case study. And I want us to quickly breeze through what they've asked. Now, in cases, right, there are several times that you get a brief like this, right? And there are other cases where you will not even get any brief like this. But we're assuming that we are data analysts in this retail core sales company, and then we've gotten a brief like this. And retail core sales is a mid-sized retail company, and they have like multiple branches across regions where they offer electronics, clothing, home goods, and groceries, right? That's what they sell. And they are looking to boost sale, monitor regional trends, and improve customer satisfaction. What this is telling you that the importance of this or this dashboard is they want to be able to monitor their revenue performance so that they'll be able to boost sales, right? Things like, months where they are making the most sales, things like the products that are generating the most revenue for them. Those are the things that they are interested in, right? You can see what they've put here, that the business problem for them is they lack real-time visibility into their sales performance, right? Which is making it difficult to spot trends, identify top performing regions, and also highlight improvement areas. And what they want you to focus on is KPI tracking. So they want to see a real-time view of their total revenue, quantity sold, profit, and unique customers. They also want to see like a a trend analysis that shows like a monthly trend, right, from month to month, and they want to be able to do like some comparison as well, right? They want to see some comparison as well. That is what they want to see in this data. And they've told you to identify the best sellers, underperformers of their product. So what we're going to quickly do is just try to visualize this, right? Or build a dashboard that speaks to this. So you just see how visualization works in Power BI. Now, the first thing we're going to try to do is, what is the business? Remember, I said you have to understand the business problem, which we have done, right? They want to increase revenue, right? And to solve that business problem, we're going to be answering key questions that they've tried to help us do in this place. Total revenue. What is total revenue? Is the sum of all their sales. Quantity sold. What is quantity sold? The total quantity. So sum of all the quantity. These are the measures. We are already writing these things down. For the sake of time, I'm not writing but you understand the way I'm driving. Profit is my selling price minus cost price, right? Which is all the sum of my profits column. Then unique customer is the count of all my customers that have bought from me. That is, so these are questions. So you start asking, what is the total revenue? These are questions you're going to answer. The next thing is you want to be probably doing a month over month analysis, or a year over year analysis. In this case, they say a year over year analysis. Monthly trends. What do they want to see? They want to see month over month shifts, which means you have to bring in a line chart to show this trend, right? That answers question 2. Next one, for your year over year, if you have done data analysis expression, you realize how, in fact, this would help you show how DAX is very important, because people always tell me that, why do I need to learn DAX since I can just come to Power BI and build my reports? When you want to show year over year comparison, this is when DAX comes into play. So this way you already know you're calculating your previous year and your year over year. And then the last thing, your product performance is probably, categorical data. You're bringing in a bar chart. So without wasting much time, let's try to start doing all these things. Like I said, in the working document, I've tried to create all of these measures. So the first thing I want to bring in is what they said. They want to see my total revenue. So to select a visual in Power BI, right? You can either come to, I'm just going to remove this because I think it's blocking my this thing. You can either come to where you have your measures and check the box for any measure or anything you're trying to do, and automatically Power BI generates a visual for you, right? And it would automatically generate either a table or this bar charts that you're seeing here. So to convert it, remember I said when you're showing totals, what's the best charts to use? If you remember, I told you cards or KPI, right? And Power BI has two different variations. You have this normal card visual that's represented with 1, 2, 3, and then there's this one with like a fire emoji on it that says card new. So I'm going to be making use of this card new, and I will just click on that. So that way you can see the total revenue, right? What's the next thing we want to visualize? The quantity sold. Like they said, they want to see insights or top level insights into their revenue, quantity sold, and profit and customers, right? So we'll do the same thing. You can either just do a Control-C and V, copy and paste it, and select what the profit, or you do the same process from scratch, right? That's what we're going to be doing here. So I can go ahead and just do Control-C and V again, and instead of profits, you can also bring there's another way to also put data here is by dragging to this data pane. So I'm sure by now you already understand this interface is familiar to you, and you know this is your visualization pane, and everything that has to do with visualization, you will find that here. This contains some of the charts I've spoken about earlier today. So we're going to look at units sold now, and I'll just drag this and put it on. So you can either check or you drag and put on the visuals that you have here. So you can either drag or, I wonder why this is not working. Okay, let me do this. Okay, good. So you can see when we drag, it generated a table, but that's not what I want, right? I want to use the new card visual. So I'll put this also by the side here. And then the last one is the profits. So if I do a Control-C and V, to just do a copy and paste, I can remove this and I can use my customers rather. That's the last one. Customers, and it will show me the count of my customers. So this way I've been able to get all my card out. We'll still talk about formatting this card and making it decent, but let's get all our visuals or try to answer most of the questions. What's the second question that they said, or the second thing, right? They say real-time view of total revenue, quantity sold, profit, and unique customers, which we have tried to do now. Monthly trend. So they want you to analyze, they want to see your performance, right? Like for different months. So, and remember what I said, that when you're trying to visualize a trend, anything time series analysis, just think your line charts or your area charts. So I can either do line, I can do area, depending on which one I want to use. So for this case, let me just use a line chart. So I'm just going to use a line chart here. And what do I want to see? I want to see my revenue. So I'll pick, because I'm focusing on revenue, I'll pick my revenue, and I'm going to pick what's this thing, my month. So one thing I've tried to do is to create like a date table. I'm sure you already know what a date table is. Anybody that does not know what a date table means, if you don't know, you can let me know. So like a calendar table, right? So I've created a calendar table here, and what I'm going to do is on my calendar table, I'll select month name. And you can see my months according to the different all the sales I made. And looking at this chart alone, I can tell that September is where I made the most revenue. I mean, December is the month where I made the most revenue, right? Because it's the one with the highest data points here. And February is where we made like the lowest sales. These are some of the things you want to do. And then what's the next thing they're asking us? Year-over-year comparison. And I'll tell you an interesting way to actually do this for the year-over-year comparison. I want to be sure that this contains multiple years, because I think it skipped my mind. Okay, yes. So we're going to look at the year-over-year comparison for this data. So what we're going to do is, we want something I did mention when we're looking at our data is adding context when you are visualizing, right? And context is, year-over-year is an example of context. Fine, you are telling this company that they've made a total of 2.2 million. Do you know that this might not be really important to them? But imagine telling them that, oh, you made 2,000 naira in this month, and last month you made 1,000 naira. It's interesting for them because they can see they are growing. Or you're saying, oh, this year you made 1 million naira, and last year you made 500,000. They can see the growth. It's interesting. So this is what we call context. So adding things like your previous year and your year over year. And this new card visual makes it really easy. And I'll show you how to add that. How do you exactly go about adding that on your card visual? So you want to come over to your format, okay? Under format, so make sure you're selecting a visual on there. Under format, you want to go ahead to where you have reference labels. So when you go to these reference labels, you can add other measures on it, right? For example, I want to add my previous year and year over year on here. I can go ahead and put my previous year. So this place that say add data, I will drag it and drop it here, or I'll click on add data and I will get this pop-up here. And I can just go ahead and select the measure I need. For example, I want to add year-over-year revenue. I'll select it. And you can see it's showing up on this place. So I can see my revenue previous year and year-over-year revenue. And if I don't like the naming convention, I can also go ahead and rename it. What do I mean? So if I scroll down, you see this place that says select label. I'll start with my revenue previous year, and I'll just click it, and I'll scroll down to this place where it says title. Okay, so instead of the field name, I can go ahead and change it to custom, and this place that says text now, I'll just leave it as previous year and maybe put like a colon in front of it. That way I've been able to change the name, and I'll do the same thing for the second one, right? Still, instead of revenue previous year now, I'll do the same thing for year over year, and I'll scroll down. Instead of field name is the name of, this is what we call fields in Power BI. So all these your columns are called fields. What you know as columns in Excel, they are called fields here in Power BI. So I'll change the name So instead of field name, I'll use a custom name, which I'm
Martina,
saying
your
I want
screen
to
is
use
not
my
moving.
own name.
Hello, can you hear me,
You said?
Martina? Your screen is not
Yes.
moving.
Yeah, I can hear you. My screen is not moving.
Yes.
Oops. I'm so sorry. And I think I'm sharing my entire screen. Oops. Okay, let me just stop sharing and share again. Okay, I'm going to just take that again so that we understand what I've done there. I'll remove this and just try to start from scratch. Okay, I hope everyone can see my screen now, and my screen is moving now. Please just confirm that my screen is moving.
We can't see your screen.
And I'm sharing my entire screen. Okay, just a moment. Let me see if I can share one particular screen. How about now?
We can see your screen now.
Okay, so yes, I'm going to stop sharing and try again, because the thing about this is when I click on the pop-up, there's every possibility we might not see that. How about now? Is my screen visible?
Not yet.
Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Okay, we can see your screen now.
Okay, thank you. Can you see me moving? How about now? How about now? Can everybody see me moving? Some person that still saying not yet. I want to make sure that everyone is carried along.
Not yet.
I want to make sure everyone is carried along. Can anybody see my cursor moving?
So now, yes, we
And
can see your cursor now.
I'm just okay, good. I want to be sure. Okay. Oh, don't worry, I'll take it over again. It's fine. I want to get what was the last thing you think you understood? Did everybody get up until the point when I brought the line chart? Let me know if everybody got up. But if you did, just drop a thumbs up. If you got up until the point where I created the line chart, let me know by just dropping a thumbs up. Okay, from the start of year over year. Okay, beautiful. Don't worry, I'll take it again to make sure that everyone is following. But I hope everyone got up till the point of where we created a line chart, so that just so we know that we're all on the same page. I don't see a lot of reaction, so I'd assume that maybe we didn't get that. Did we see when I created the card visuals? Okay, I'm going to start all over again. I'll start from the line charts. I think from the card visuals, people seem to be lost. So we'll take it from the line charts. I'm just going to delete that. I'll take it from that spot. Now, I mentioned that when you want to show time series analysis, right, you use a line chart. And to select a line chart, you would see it on here. One thing at your level, because you don't know where all these charts are located, you can just try to skim through all of them one after the other to see their name. And if you look here, this is a line chart. When you hover on it, Power BI Intelligence ability just shows you what the name of that particular chart is, and you can select a line chart, which is what you want. And you can always use the button by this side to adjust the visuals. So for example, if I want to adjust this one, I can drag it however I want it, right? And because what I want to show is my monthly revenue trend, I would have to select the revenue and I would select my month. In mathematics, that's if you're coming from a mathematical background, or if you did secondary school maths, you will know that your x-axis is here your y-axis is like this, right? X-axis is what? Horizontal, y-axis is vertical. So, and when you're using your line chart, your values would naturally go under the x-axis, and your your categories would naturally go under the x-axis, while your values will go under the y-axis, right? Don't get me wrong. Categories under the x-axis. So I have to have my March, April, May, June, my months here, and my numbers on this side. So what I would do is I'm going to pick my revenue automatically. Even if you just select, Power BI automatically places them for you. But you can also drag. For example, if I drag revenue and put on the y-axis, and then I can scroll to where my date is and pick my month name and put it on the x-axis, and automatically I get this particular chart. Okay, the next thing I want to do is to bring in do the year-over-year analysis, which is what we're doing before we got disconnected. I hope everybody understands this line chart now. Now, to do your year-over-year analysis, this is the card visual. The new card visual helps you make this easy. You make use of something called reference label. And how does reference label work? You just go to make sure you have selected the visual first of all. Okay. Now go to the format option. Okay. And then you want to go to reference labels. So when you go to reference labels, you want to scroll down and you'll see this place that says add data. Now, if I click on add data, it would show me this pop-up that has everything about my data. So I can click under my measures, and because I want to bring my revenue of previous year and even year over year, I can just select this previous year, and I can also select the year over year for my revenue.
We can't see your screen again. It's not moving. It's stuck.
I don't know why it's stuck. Where did it stop? What are you seeing now? What are you seeing now?
You can see the card.
And
the chat,
nobody's clearly my card visual.
you were doing was not showing.
And I'm sharing my entire screen. I'm sharing my entire screen, so I don't know why that is a problem.
Is it from Power BI?
I don't think it's from Power BI. I don't know what the problem is at this point. Let me see something. Let me know if you see the next chart I bring in here, just to be sure. Can you see the next chart I'm bringing in here?
Yes, we can see the next
Or
chart.
my screen is still stuck?
We can see it.
Can you see any changes on this particular page? I don't know if it's a Teams issue or this thing. It's just really strange that nobody can see my screen. I'll just walk you through what I've done here again. Let me do it on this one. Let me see if it's visible. Can everybody see when I go to format visual? Current screen. Is my mouse stuck?
We can't see your mouse.
What about now? Can everybody see my mouse? Or it's still
Not
stuck?
Yet. Yes.
This is crazy. Let me see if I'll just share a particular screen, but I'm just worried that some of the other things that might pop up, you won't see it, but I'll just share only my Power BI screen. How about now? Can we see my Power BI screen? Somebody should take a screenshot of what they are seeing on the current screen. Okay.
We can see your screen now.
How about, okay, you can see my screen now, right?
Yes.
Now let's see if this works. So let's talk about the year over year again. And my cursor is moving, right? Please just call my attention to it. Immediately my cursor stops working. I don't know if it has to do with the reference label. So
Okay.
like I was saying, when you go to format your visual, you would see reference labels. So under these reference labels, you see where you have this add data. All you have to do is drag whatever that is going on here, right? Like your previous year, for example, you can drag it and put it on this add data. Okay, and automatically you can see underneath here, you are seeing previous year. You can also do the same thing for your year over year. So this is year over year revenue. I can drag it here, or you do add data and just select it from on here. So those are two ways to actually do it. I hope my screen is still visible.
I can see your screen.
Okay, I want to be sure
But
that
that's
everybody
them
saw
that they are
what
not
I
seeing
did.
your screen. They are saying it's blank, but I can see it from my end.
Please, if you cannot see my screen, it's frozen. I at this point I'm confused. I don't know why. Let me stop sharing and share again. Okay, I've reshared again. I hope it's visible now.
Your screen is up now.
How about now, guys? People in the comment section. It's visible. Okay. Oh, people are seeing my screen now. I think my screen is very visible. It's visible now. Okay. So I think we can continue, right? I don't know if everybody got how this came across here, but I'll do the same thing for profits, right? But first thing first, I can go ahead and rename this thing because there's a lot of text. So if I go back to that same place that had that reference label, okay, we can go ahead and change. Now, the reason why we're doing is you can just do revenue and leave it like that, no problem. But you want to always add context. Storytelling is important, and this is part of storytelling. So I can come here and I'll just change this. Instead of revenue previous year, I want it to show only previous year. So what I will do is I will go down to where I have title. This title that I have here, I will change the field name to custom, okay? And then the text, I will make it just YOY. So that it's showing over year, and I will change this one because the label is on year over year revenue. So I'll change the revenue to, by default, first of all, it's going to be on all. Guys, by default, it's going to be on all, but I want it to be on, I want to change the name for revenue previous year. So I'll go to revenue previous year and I'll change it from field name to custom. Okay, and then I can just go ahead and remove this revenue in front. I mean, my title already says I'm talking about revenue, and I'll just use only PY and put just a colon in front to differentiate the number. I don't think my screen is visible enough. Let me just enlarge it so that you can see what we are doing. You can see I've changed it. Don't worry. I'll do the same thing for profit and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, on profit here, I can come here, okay, and do the same thing. So if I go to that format, I would scroll to where I have reference label here, okay, scroll down, and now we can use this add data style. So if I do add data, you can see it's opening this up, right? I can come to my measures and just select profit previous year, okay, and I would select what's the second one, the year over year of profit. Those are the things that I want to show. And because I want to change the naming convention too, I will scroll down. This place that says select label, the first label I'm going to select is profit of previous year. So instead of profit for previous year, I want to just show previous year. So this place that says title, I will change the field name to custom, and I'm going to do what? Put just previous year there. Okay, the next thing I will do is I'll do the same thing for what? The year over year growth. And I'm just going to do what? I would go ahead and put custom, and I'll change this to year over year. And for the sake of time, I'm going to let you use the other two to practicalize, but I would just go ahead and just complete this. So we are doing year over year for all of them, right? So that is what we're trying to do. One other thing that would be interesting to do here is to use like a color conditional formatting to say when it's positive green, when it's negative red, but we'll come to that. First thing first, I want to look at our last question here that they're asking us. I think we're almost at time. The last question they're asking us here is our product performance. So we can just do like our best sellers, right? Which is like maybe the top 5 performing products by revenue. How do you visualize categorical data? I already mentioned that, which is what? By dragging a bar chart. So I'm going to use this either this stacked or this clustered bar chart, and I'll tell you why I'm using this bar chart. Sometimes when you are visualizing, right, when you use this standing chart, I always call them horizontal and vertical. When you use vertical bar charts, you will not be able to see the words clearly. So sometimes you need to convert, and I'll show you what it means. Let me use the standing, that's the column charts first of all. I think because I zoomed in, you'll see it here. And I want to show what revenue by products, right? My 5 best sellers. So if I click my revenue, I can scroll down and I will go to my product table here and I will just pick my product name. You can see what's happening. For anybody to be able to read this, they would have to probably turn their laptop upside down. And I don't want that. So that is why I'm going to use this so that it's even more readable. And still, it's not readable. So what I'm going to do is I will adjust this when I'm formatting, and I will show you how to actually do that. Now, sometimes when you are visualizing, you cannot see everything on your dashboard. How do you make sure that you can see everything at a glance? You want to go to your view tab, go to page view and do fit to width. That way you'll be able to see all your screen automatically again, so you know how your dashboard looks like. I'm sure on your, you might know or you might not, on this page there's a way to make your background dim, right? Change your background color. For example, if I come to this format your reports page, I'll see canvas background and I can change the color to maybe this gray that I have over here, and nothing has happened, right? But once I reduce the transparency, you can see, like you can see that gray effect that I applied under here. So one thing that I want you to know is it's important to have the same spaces in between them. So what I always like to do is I would select all visuals on top, first of all, go to my general, okay? On my properties, I want to make sure they are the same width. So I'll just either expand. Good. And then what I'm going to do next is, since I'm sure that they are all of the same size, I will go to my under my formats, right? On this tab, on my format tab, you'll see align. So I want to make sure that they all have the same spaces between them. Under align, I will do this distribute horizontally. Automatically, Power BI is going to make sure that they all have the same spaces in between them automatically, right? The next thing I want to do is I would adjust this one also a bit. I would also adjust this. I think it's properly adjusted, making sure that everything, alignment and layout is very, very important, right? We'll talk about formatting this, how to format your report so that it's clear. Now, if you look at this revenue by product name, you have all the revenues. In fact, if I try to zoom in, you would notice that for anybody to be able to see this, there's a scrolling effect here. They will scroll and scroll. But what we want to focus on is just the top 5 products that are generating the most revenue. How do you do that? Look at your filters pane. That is where all that magic would happen. On your filters pane, you want to select your product name, right? Click on the drop down and see this place that says filter type. Select the drop down, and what you should choose is top N. This way you can filter for just the top 5, top 10, top 20, depending on what you want to see. And in my case, I want to do top 5. So I'll say, see this place that says show items, top, this place is blank. I'll just put 5. That is what I want to see. Nothing has happened yet because you have not specified by what value. And in my own case, I want to show the top 5 products by revenue. So you see this revenue that I have here, I will drag it and come and drop in this place that says add data fields here. And automatically I would have my revenue here. But still, nothing has still happened, right? To make sure that something happened, you have to do apply filter. And automatically you can see now I'm only seeing 5 top products. But we still need to format this visual. Somebody that sees this thing now, they cannot tell how much these products generated. They would have to start scrolling like this and it will not be clear, right? And all these things that you have here, product name, it makes your report looks or your visual look cluttered. You want to take that out. So one way to make this a little bit cleaner is number one, by adding what we call data labels. Remember when I spoke about elements, right? So when you come to format, you want to scroll down to where you will see data labels here and just turn it on. And automatically you can see I now have numbers in front. Now that I have these numbers in front, there's no need for these numbers here again. Also, my title is already saying this is revenue by product name. So I don't need to specify that this is product name or this is revenue. Anybody that sees it will know this is revenue by product name. So I will turn those things off. How do you do that? Now, everything on this side, remember I said is what? Your y-axis. Everything on this side is your x-axis. So, and if you come to your visual formatting, y-axis is there. So when you want to format anything on this y-axis, click on y-axis. So in our case, what do we want to remove? Want to remove this thing. So you see this one, it's called value. This one is called label. Excuse me. It's called label. So when you want to remove anything, yeah, is whatever you want to remove, this is value, this is label. And in our own case, what we want to remove is label or title. So I'm going to come here. This place that says title, I'll turn it off, and automatically that is gone, right? Also for my layout, because I want to be able to read this more, I would come here and just increase the category height. Okay, not here actually, it's the other layout. Okay, on my x-axis rather. Okay. So first of all, let's take out all the revenue, and then we'd have to adjust this so that it's much more readable. So on this x-axis, another thing I'm going to do is to what? Remove this number and the revenue. So I'll turn off the values and I'll turn off the title. I don't want to see that. I only want my title name so that I'm seeing all these things. Then the last thing I want to do, I want to make sure it's much more readable. So this place that says bars, right? I'm going to come here to layout. Okay, under layout, I would increase this. I don't think this is working as I want it. Layout. Okay, I guess it's because of the space. That's why it's not working. And I definitely think our product names are actually very long. But when you hover on it, you'll probably see the name and also the revenue as well. So one thing I want to do, and that is also very important, is using uniform fonts, right? You want to make sure that all your fonts are uniform. And in this case, it's already using DIN, which is okay. But I'll do the same thing for my monthly revenue trend. So I'm going to take out revenue, and I'm also going to take out the title here for month name. So what you want to do is the same thing that we have done on the y-axis and the x-axis, right? I'm going to, on the x-axis, I'm going to turn off the title here. And I'll do the same thing for my y-axis by turning off the title. I don't want to add data labels here because it's going to be a bit cluttered. And one of the reasons for a line chart is to basically spot trends and not necessarily to see the figures, right? So I'll probably leave this as it is. But one thing I'll just remove here is the grid lines, because sometimes grid lines tend to make your report look a little bit cluttered. Imagine if there were so many data points here, it's going to be cluttered. So if there's something you also want to change, you can easily search for it. For example, you want to change color, you can search color here and change color based on whatever you want to do. But in this case, and because of at the level you are, you can scroll through. So I'm going to turn off the grid lines that we have here, and this is basically plain. Before we wrap up, I just want quickly, if you notice this report, you will notice one thing that is missing here is a title. You'll notice that one thing that is missing here is actually a title, right? Your report needs to have a title. It is very, very important. So what do you want to do? You want to make sure that there's a title on this report. So I'm going to do what? And to insert a title, or to put a title, you use text boxes. So I'm going to insert a text box here. So if you go to insert, you see elements and you just want to click on text box. And then I'm just going to adjust this and place it somewhere on the top. And I'll just put this on here, maybe like this. And then we can call this report a sales dashboard or retail co-sales dashboard. And I'm just going to increase the fonts. You can increase it to whatever sizing that you want to do. One last thing I want to quickly talk about, because I know we're already at time, is choosing colors for your dashboard. Now, Power BI provides you with different themes. By default, this is the color that you will see when you're building a report. But if you want to change themes, you can go to View and you will see several themes that you can pick from. For example, if I pick this one, automatically my report changes to meet that theme. If I pick this, it changes. If I pick this one or this one, any one you pick, your report automatically changes to fit that particular theme. There's also a way that you can create your own custom theme, right? For example, if I stay on the original theme and I go to and I do customize current theme, there are sites where you can go to and you pick like different this, and I'll probably add compilation of some of these sites and resources to that drive so you can always have access to it. On this place, if you have any X code on that, if you're somebody that's not good with colors, you can go to this site. One of them is colorhunt.co, I mean colorhunt.com, or just Google colorhunt. You will see it. So colorhunt, that's COLORHUNT. So colorhunt, then there's colors.co as well, which is COOLORS.co. If you go to this site, you will see color, and you can just, or color combination, you can just come here and pick any color of your choice and put it there. For example, if I have an X code already that I want to use for this report, maybe I've gone to colorhunt and pick maybe any S code of my choice. Colorhunt.co, yes, that's what it's called. And I've picked any or I've taken any X code of my choice. I can come to that place where I have that customized theme and pick any one. So for example, if I do customize current theme, I can come here and paste that X code here. So if I do Control A and I paste that S code and I do apply, automatically all my reports will change to fit that color that I've created. So that is how you can format your dashboard in terms of visualization. What if I want to make sure that this is interactive? Like, for example, I want people to filter by a particular year, right? I can come here and just bring in my slicer visual. So this is your slicer here in Power BI, right? This one that has this funnel looking icon. And I can just position that maybe somewhere on the top here, and I'll bring in my year. So I can bring in my year, and you can also format this however you want. Maybe you don't want this slicing on. If you go to your slicer settings, that's under your format. Under your slicer settings, you can choose either like a different type. So in this case, maybe I want a drop down, so that people will just click this drop down and they'll be able to select whatever year at all, right? That way I'll be able to do, or I can actually do that. And its alignment is very important. If you notice, every time I was building, or every time I was trying to align it to whatever that was on top or whatever that is by the side, it is very, very important during visualization. These are the things that I want you to put at the back of your mind. For the sake of time, I'm sure we've been able to do like a lot in the little time that we have. But what I would expect everyone to do is try to complete and do what we've done here for units sold and even customers, and try to wrap this up. So if you have any questions, I'm sorry, I know it took a lot of time and the issues we have, I can take those questions. I'm also very accessible online. You can reach out to me and then we'll take your questions. But please, if you have questions for me, let's take those questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Tina. Oluwatosin, your hand has been up, so you can speak now. Oluwatosin, are you there? Taiwo, you can speak now. Taiwo.
Okay, I think
Okay,
I'm
Elijah, you
getting
can
somebody
speak.
says they can't access the data from the drive. So what I would expect you to do is because there's a folder there called Tech Monthly Data. So I would expect that you just download the folder, right? I mean it's downloadable. So if I just download everything in that folder, that is what I would expect that everyone do. I hope that's clear. Damilola. I think people, some persons still have their hands up. I
I've
don't know.
unmuted them.
Okay. If you have a question, please feel free to ask.
Elijah, you can speak now. Or you can drop your question in the chat box.
I don't think Elisha can speak yet. I also don't think okay, Moshood can speak. Moshood Taiwo Olatunde and Sodiq Omotayo too can speak, but I know the answer or probably was a
The
mistake.
answer up. Okay.
It's not downloading. Ah, I don't know a better way to share it. What's the problem there? What's the error you're getting when you try to download, please? Okay, you can just put all of them into a folder. All right. If you downloaded it one by one, if there are months, put all of them into a folder and bring that folder into Power BI. Yeah, somebody wanted
Okay,
to
good
say
afternoon, ma. Thank
something. Yeah, good afternoon. Please go on.
you very much for your time. Please, like after you inputted the folder when you open it and you transform the data and
Yes.
changing the path, like I just go confused from that part. I don't know if you can shed more light. After transforming the data, you said you are going to
Yes.
change the path for each one.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Let
I
me show
I,
you
I
what I
got this.
mean. I'll
Thank
show
you.
you what I mean. So I would have to share my entire screen because I was just sharing a particular window before, so you can see my entire screen. So this is what I mean, right? When you go to transform data here, what you want to do is go to source, right? Click on these settings here. You would see this part that will come up. So just click on browse and go to where that data is located. In my case, it's located on my desktop, right? So I'll open up my desktop and scroll to where I have the data. I think it's called Tech Monthly Data on my laptop, which is this, and I'll select it and I'll click on OK. And then I'll just click on OK. And automatically you would see the data there, because the reason why this one is like, this is my own file path. So if you use it like that, it won't work, right? That's the thing. You might not like, if especially when you come back here, you might not see the file. I mean, you might be able to work on it on the desktop, but because I want it to be your own file, or that's what I'm saying to should do this. Some persons might be able to, you might be able to work with it directly on desktop, but if you want it as your own file, you would want to do this. So is this clear
I
now?
got that very much. Yeah, thank you very
Okay.
much, ma. Thank you.
All right. Any other question from anyone? I think the next two, we'll just give 2 minutes. If there are no more questions, I think it's fine to wrap up. But please, if in case you are watching the recordings and you have any question, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Anyway, I'm very, very active on those platforms, on Twitter most especially, actually. And by the way, if you're looking for further resources also, there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, we were able to achieve this in just 1 hour. But Glory, I think you can take over from here. Thank you guys for having me, by the way.
Thank you very much, Tina. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful session. So far, we've been able to understand how to create visuals and reports in Power BI. Thank you very much for doing justice to that topic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tina. We are having you. And also, I'll be sharing the link to her social media platform in our platform. You can go follow her on LinkedIn, follow her on Twitter, follow her on all social media platforms. And if you have further questions regarding this session, like she said, you can on her social media platform. Thank you everybody for joining this session. Every resources you need will be shared social media platform. So once again, thank you very much for joining the session. Remember, we have another session tomorrow by 4 p.m. which will be handled by Fatima, and the session is on how to build your portfolio. Now we've understood how to Power BI. The next thing is for us to build portfolio, build projects visible to recruiters. Make sure you set your time and ensure you don't miss tomorrow's session. Looking forward to see each and every one of us tomorrow. Bye for now. Thank you.